This page is the dynamic cover of Saturn Fan Magazine from the June 7, 1996 issue. The artwork prominently features the vibrant cast of Sakura Wars, highlighting it as a major feature with its title dominating the top of the page. The issue covers various exciting releases and news from the era of the Sega Saturn. Key highlights mentioned include a report from E3 in America featuring new details on Sonic, likely Sonic 3D Blast or Extreme, and Virtua Cop 2. There's also a significant feature on Tokimeki Memorial, described as an exclusive special scoop. Other notable games covered or mentioned on the cover include Dragon Force, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Nights into Dreams, Langrisser 2i, Darius 2, and titles like Dukyusei, Classmates, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and El Hazard, all showcasing the diverse library available on the Saturn. The cover promises in-depth coverage of these popular titles for fans of the system. This page presents a vibrant advertisement spread for the Sega Saturn game Dragon Ball Z. Featured prominently are characters like Cell, Vegeta, Goku, Frieza, and Majin Buu. The headline declares a new battlefield where players can rewrite the legend within a flawless Dragon Ball world on the Sega Saturn. The game promises exciting 8-directional 3D action, allowing players to engage in countless legendary battles and experience the series' power. Screenshots demonstrate the 3D fighting perspective and characters executing signature special moves. There's also information regarding a promotional campaign offering exclusive items and a special poster for those who purchase the game early, which was set to release on May 31st. This page features an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Gekka Mugentan Toriko. The main visual is a striking render of 3 characters in a dramatic pose, with a focus on a central figure in a suit. The text describes the game as a large-scale work finally unveiled after 3 years of conception by novelist Kenji Takemoto, showcasing his passion across 2 credrams. It delves into a psychological horror adventure, where the protagonist wakes up in a strange world, questioning their identity and location, hinting at a world altered by unusual occurrences. The game promises changes in the protagonist's detailed psychological state, and points in the story highlighted through a defocus function, all brought to life with beautiful full CG visuals that enhance the scenario's appeal. Screenshots show rendered characters in various environments, suggesting a cinematic and atmospheric experience. The advertisement notes the game is an adventure title scheduled for release on June 28, 1996, with a suggested retail price of 20,000 yen, excluding tax. This page showcases Konami's exciting lineup for the Sega Saturn. The main focus is the highly anticipated port of the dating simulation classic, Tokimeki Memorial, Forever With You, scheduled for release on July 26. The Saturn version promises unique features, including the ability for the player character to make a confession. Special and deluxe editions offering bonus items are also detailed. Elsewhere on the page, Konami highlights Tokimeki Memorial Taisen Pazuru Dama, a competitive puzzle game featuring characters from the series, slated for release on September 9th, concurrently with its PlayStation counterpart. Additionally, the page features Hideo Kojima's acclaimed cinematic adventure, Policenauts, confirming its release on the Saturn on September 13th across 3 CDs. A section titled Popular Software Lineup displays box art for other Konami Saturn titles available or upcoming, including hits like Snatcher, Gradius Deluxe Pack, and Gokuju Parodius Deluxe Pack, reinforcing Konami's commitment to the console. A small note mentions a continuing campaign offering chances to win Konami software and goods. This page introduces Gameware, a revolutionary concept for the Sega Saturn. It's a magazine on Crodrom that you can actually play. The left side serves as a preview for Volume 2, scheduled for release on July 5th, teasing new content like the fighting game Last Gladiators, something called Deep in the Water, Pit Boy's Great Adventure, and the adult love game series of Dreams. The right side delves into the first issue's contents, explaining that Gameware is the original Room magazine, offering games you can play rather than just reading about them. Volume 1 includes a variety of interactive features: the ongoing game series of Dreams, the 3D puzzle game Pit Boy's Great Adventure, and a port of the popular arcade title Egihan Detective Agency. Beyond games, it features playable game advertisements, a digital gallery, sponsored content, and information and shopping sections. It emphasizes the unique blend of entertainment and advertising, stating that both games and ads are fun to interact with. Gameware Volume 1 is highlighted as being on sale for 1,980 yen. This page highlights games from Victor Entertainment. The main focus is on KO Flying Squadron 2, an action-packed game featuring Rami and Pochi navigating fantastical Edo-era environments. The game is noted for its animated sequences and voice acting, with Mika Kanai voicing Rami. There's also a promotion running where players can win exclusive merchandise related to the game, such as signed artwork, game animation cells, special videos, and commemorative phone cards. Additionally, the page features adverts for two other titles: Sea Bass Fishing, a realistic fishing simulation game, and Thunderhawk 2, a 3D helicopter combat shooting game with diverse missions for the NATO Firestorm Task Force. This page features a dual advertisement spread showcasing two highly anticipated racing games coming to the Sega Saturn. On the left, we have Destruction Derby, known in Japan as Gekitotsu. Destruction Derby. The visual shows crash test dummies inside a vehicle, fitting for this game that pioneered arena-based vehicular combat and destruction. The metallic, damaged logo emphasizes the core gameplay. It's described as a crash race and was slated for an August 1996 release in Japan. On the right side is the iconic futuristic racer, Wipeout, featuring its distinctive orange logo against a high-speed, anti-gravity backdrop. This title, known as Suigeki, Wipeout in Japan, is correctly identified as an anti-gravity racing game and was scheduled for release on June 28, 1996, priced at 5,800 yen. Both ads use a similar tagline structure, proclaiming the arrival of the respective game on the Saturn platform. This page presents a two-page advertisement for the highly anticipated horror-adventure title, Enemy Zero, from the developer Warp. On the left, a striking 3D rendered image features the protagonist, Laura Lewis, set against a dark, atmospheric background, emphasizing the game's tense, claustrophobic feel. Vertical Japanese text alongside her translates to the chilling tagline, "The invisible enemy is there." The right side is dominated by the iconic title logo for Enemy Zero, with its distinct red zero, and confirmation of its release on the Sega Saturn. Key details are provided. The game would ship on an impressive 4 discs, was estimated to cost 6,800 yen, and was scheduled to launch in the autumn of 1996. The presence of rating icons suggests the mature nature of the game's content. This spread effectively conveys the game's unique concept of facing an unseen threat, a hallmark of this survival horror experience. This page features a two-game showcase. On the left, an RPG titled Sword and Sorcery is highlighted, featuring vibrant character art and promising a narrative-driven adventure with 3D environments and voice acting. Set for release on May 31st at 6,800 yen. The page includes screenshots showing the game's style and mentions key staff like voice actors. The right side is dedicated to the shooting game Metal Black, a title long awaited by fans, now arriving on the Sega Saturn. It features dynamic artwork of spaceships and organic alien forms, describing gameplay mechanics like collecting neutrons for power-ups and battling through 6 rounds plus bonus stages. Metal Black was scheduled for release slightly earlier on May 24th at 5,800 yen. Both pages also include recruitment advertisements. This page showcases two highly anticipated titles. On the left is Langrisser 2i, featuring a striking illustration of the character Altmuller. It's highlighted as a semi-real-time simulation RPG, moving from strategy focus to battle focus. Key features include 3D panorama tactics for wide-view battles, a flexible class change system tied to level UPS, and the ability to select one of 4 heroines. There's also mention of a special first press package with bonus items like an illustration sheet and fan book. Langrisser 2 is set for release on July 12th with a special price. The right side focuses on the intense scrolling shooter Strikers 1945. Following up on the success of titles like Gunbird, this game throws you into World War II aerial combat, letting you choose from 6 real-world fighter planes. Expect diverse formations with options and a wide array of weapons. Strikers 1945 was scheduled to hit the Sega Saturn in June 1996, with a PlayStation version following in mid-July. Below that, there's a section promoting the Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Demon Encyclopedia, a guidebook featuring detailed CG reproductions of the demons from the game, available for Saturn owners. This page features 2 exciting titles coming to the Sega Saturn. On the left, we have Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldian, a highly anticipated RPG from Sunsoft. The artwork showcases the main cast of characters in a vibrant scene, with smaller screenshots hinting at the game's environments and battle system. Set for release in the summer of 1996, the page highlights a release campaign with special bonuses, including a deluxe CD box edition featuring a desk calendar with character illustrations. The vertical text reads, "Heavenly movement. Its true nature is a sky-soaring thing." The right side presents Kingdom Grand Prix by Gaga Interactive, a unique shooting game described as having hit the arcades and now being fully ported to the Saturn. The dynamic illustration depicts a chaotic fantasy world filled with characters, flying contraptions, and magical effects. Screenshots demonstrate the gameplay, showing both aerial shooting action and boss encounters. Key features mentioned include varied courses, 12 in total, featuring unique boss characters, power-ups via magic items, rapid fire, and hyper boosts to reach the goal. It's touted as an authentic shooting race game, with diverse characters offering various attacks. Kingdom Grand Prix was scheduled for release in June 1996, with a price of 5,800 yen, excluding tax. The vertical text emphasizes its arcade origins and full port to the Saturn. This page presents two distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left you'll find FIDA, the Emblem of Justice remake, a simulation RPG. The page features striking character artwork and lists the voice cast, promising a new history to be forged with the protagonists Brian Steert and Stalbert. This remake brought the classic series to the Sega Saturn era, priced at 6,300 yen. To the right is Sand Dune, a puzzle and action game. It declares the return of the series, boasting an impressive collection of 27 different new games or stages, packed into one title. The page includes screenshots hinting at the puzzle gameplay and showcases the game's unique character designs, released for 5,800 yen. There's also a small panel highlighting the horoscope game, fortune-telling story. This page features Clockworks, the latest action puzzle game, supervised by none other than Alexei Pajitnov, the legendary creator of Tetris. Making its debut in Japan, the game is highlighted with striking visuals of characters against a clock face backdrop and screenshots showing the intricate puzzle elements. Pajitnov himself is pictured, along with a quote bubble suggesting timing is crucial in the game. With 50 unique stages promised, it sounds like a challenging test of reflexes and planning. The right side is dedicated to user feedback, offering insights from a wide range of players, from students to various professionals. Many express their enjoyment of Clockworks, praising its addictive nature and the satisfaction of solving the puzzles. Players across different age groups seem to agree it's a fun and engaging experience. At the bottom, there's a section for The Tower, the high-rise building simulation game. It details user feedback for the Sega Saturn version and mentions a special campaign where the first 1,000 people who achieved the Tower title received a special certificate. This shows publishers were engaging with their player base for the SimTower experience. This page features the highly anticipated Sega Saturn port of Super Real Mahjong PV, now available for purchase. It promises a faithful recreation of the popular arcade game, highlighting enhanced animation quality, detailed character expressions, and intricate clothing details, boasting 1.5 times the number of animation frames compared to previous versions, totaling 130 cuts. The page showcases several screenshots, including character profiles and gameplay moments, emphasizing the game's focus on character interaction and visuals. It also mentions additional content created specifically for this version, such as new graphics, extra voice lines, and mini-games, making it a definitive release for fans. Voice actors for the characters also contribute theme songs. Finally, there's an announcement for the SIPS Club, the official fan club for Real Mahjong, accepting new members. An included survey postcard allows owners to join for free and receive various goodies. The game is rated 18+, and the images shown are confirmed to be from the Sega Saturn version. This page announces the reshipment of the controversial visual novel Nomura Byoin no Hitobito for the Sega Saturn. Known for its adult themes and storytelling, this game by Elf is now widely available again, priced at 6,800 yen. The page features striking anime artwork showcasing the game's characters, including nurses, patients, and a doctor, set against the backdrop of the titular hospital. It highlights that the game is strictly for those aged 18 and over, emphasizing its mature content. This reshipment makes it easier for fans to obtain this classic title from the era. This page announces Data East's first role-playing game for the Sega Saturn, Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete. This release is a compilation featuring both classic dungeon-crawling adventures, Wizardry 6, Bane of the Cosmic Forge, and Wizardry V2, Crusaders of the Dark Savant, together on a single CD. Set to release on May 31st for 6,800 yen, the game highlights include a more user-friendly system, adjustable difficulty levels to suit player preference, and enhanced sound. The page features screenshots showing the game's first-person dungeon exploration and character portraits, along with key artwork. It also notes that strategy guides are available from Futabasha and Locus. The right side of the page contains the magazine's table of contents and a game index, listing the various articles and games covered in this issue, along with a concise table of game specifications. This page presents a major feature on the highly anticipated Sakura Wars for the Sega Saturn. The article highlights the game's unique blend of adventure and simulation gameplay, promising a deep and engaging experience. It includes character artwork of the protagonist, Sakura Shinguji, alongside new screenshots showcasing both the narrative-driven adventure sequences and the strategic simulation battles. The development progress is noted to be going well for a planned autumn release. There are also insights from the development team, discussing the philosophy behind creating this hybrid genre title and the integration of animated sequences and dramatic performances within the game. This feature gives players a first look at the game systems and provides developer commentary on what makes Sakura Wars so special. The next page delves deeper into the adventure part of Sakura Wars, starting with a look at the control system. It highlights that the game is fully compatible with mouse control, offering an intuitive way to interact with the environment, similar to a point-and-click adventure. The cursor changes shape depending on what it's hovering over, indicating different actions available, such as look, talk, push, take, move, or even a special action. The page then provides a detailed map of the first floor of the Imperial Theater, showcasing the various rooms players can visit during the adventure segments. Key locations shown include the main lobby, reception area, dressing room, recreation room, prop room, and cafeteria. Screenshots illustrate scenes within these areas, featuring characters like Suamiya in the dressing room contemplating her appearance, Kana in the prop room looking relaxed, and even a shot of director Yoneda. The system known as Iwahashi is briefly mentioned, where background images on the wall change with the seasons, potentially influencing the game's atmosphere and events. There are also notes from the developers explaining their design choices for the control scheme and the navigable map, emphasizing user-friendliness whether using a mouse or a controller. This page provides an in-depth look at the world of Sakura Wars, focusing on the second floor of the Imperial Theater where the cast resides, and delving into the game's graphics and the transition between its adventure and battle phases. It shows off the private rooms of the Flower Division members, such as Iris's whimsical room, Maria's stern but elegant space, Sakura's simple room, Kana's relaxed area, and Sulamiya's refined quarters. These rooms are where you can visit the characters during the adventure segments. The page also briefly shows the captain's room, the salon, and the Grand 2ND floor hall. Developer comments touch upon the game's visual style, explaining their design choices for character sprites and backgrounds, aiming for an anime-like aesthetic with distinct character outlines. They also discuss the use of static images and movies to convey key events and dialogue. The transition from peaceful adventure to intense combat is highlighted, illustrating how receiving a signal triggers characters to quickly don their battle gear and move into the simulation RPG sections. The page further explains how choices made during the adventure part can influence the subsequent battle sequences, demonstrating a branching dialogue option that leads to different character reactions before deployment. This dynamic choice system adds replayability and consequence to player decisions. This page dives deep into the battle system of Sakura Wars, showing the dramatic shift from the adventure phase into combat. When a battle begins, you see a special animation, sometimes featuring the team deploying via an underground railway, before landing in the simulation RPG section. The core combat uses a turn-based system where units take turns based on their speed, each unit getting 2 actions per turn, which can include moving, attacking, defending, or using special abilities. There are 4 main action types: movement, attack, defense, and special. Movement is grid-based, allowing you to navigate the map, avoiding obstacles, or positioning tactically. Defense actions reduce incoming damage. Special abilities function somewhat like support magic in traditional RPGs, such as Maria's stun shot, which can stun multiple enemies. The page shows battle scenarios from Episode 1 in Ueno Park and Episode 2 in Shiba Park, featuring the iconic Imperial Capitol Tower. Developer comments highlight the desire to create a visually impactful combat experience that complements the adventure segments. They discuss balancing strategic depth with dynamic presentation, ensuring the visuals reflect the character's energy and the power of their spirit armor units, aiming for an anime-like quality in the battle sequences. This page reveals the first look at the Sega Saturn adaptation of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. It announces that the vast space opera is coming to the Saturn, promising a faithful adaptation with characters and mechanics overseen by the original anime staff, including director Noboru Ishiguro and mechanic designer Naoyuki Kato. A major highlight showcased is the high-quality 3D CG models created for the game, likely intended for the opening animation. The page features detailed renders of iconic ships from the Galactic Empire, including the protagonist Reinhardt's flagship, the Brunhild, described as the White Warship, and a stark contrast to the predominantly dark-colored ships in the series. Also shown is the standard Imperial single-seat fighter, the Valkyries, noted for its superior firepower and maneuverability compared to its Alliance counterpart, the Spartanian. Standard Imperial battleships and cruisers are also featured, with anticipation for seeing how these models will move and engage in battle. The page includes image shots demonstrating these CG models in simulated space environments, hinting at the visual style of the game's space battles or opening sequences. It mentions these early image shots were provided from the development stage and might be used in the final game. This page delves further into the gameplay mechanics and introduces the key figures battling in the Sega Saturn adaptation of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. The article showcases the dynamic camera perspectives available during space battles. Players can seamlessly switch between strategic overviews of the battlefield and close-up, immersive views of individual ship combat. The Guriguri system allows for smooth rotation and zooming, promising a visceral experience, especially during intense battle screen moments, where you can witness ships exploding up close. The commentary notes the immersive quality that might make players shout, "Fire!" alongside the action. The lower section highlights the two opposing forces and their central commanders. Representing the Galactic Empire is the invincible genius, Reinhard von Lohengrin, striving to reform the decaying Golden Bomb dynasty. His close associate Siegfried Kircheiss is mentioned, as are the two pillars of the empire, Oskar von Mittermeier and Wolfgang Mittermeier, with Mittermeier's distinctive red flagship, the Barbarossa, depicted. Leading the Free Planets Alliance is the magician of the undefeated, Yang Wenli, a reluctant hero whose strategic brilliance is unmatched. His flagship, the imposing Hyperion, is shown noted as the largest in the Alliance fleet. The page also introduces some of Yang's key allies and advisors, including Julian Mintz and Frederica Greenhill, portraying them as crucial support for the tactical genius. The conflict between the Empire and the Alliance, born from a struggle for freedom, is underscored as the backdrop for these heroes' clash. This page reveals details about the upcoming adventure game, The Magnificent World El Hazard, for the Sega Saturn, featured as a top scoop. This isn't just a simple port of the PC version, it's significantly powered up for the Saturn hardware, promising an enhanced experience. The article highlights the inclusion of full-size anime screens and added animated sequences, utilizing the original voice actors from the popular anime series. The game features a multi-story path leading to multiple endings, adding replayability. Key characters from the series are prominently displayed, including the protagonist Makoto Mizuhara with his companions, and his rival Jinai Katsuragi, leading the monstrous Bugram army. The page showcases character art and game screenshots that depict dialogue scenes and character interactions. This highly anticipated title is confirmed as an adventure game genre entry for the console. This page features the third top scoop, revealing details about the upcoming Sega Saturn adventure game, Dokusei If. The article highlights this as an exclusive preview, showcasing intense H visuals obtained for the Saturn version, distinct from the PC Engine release. Dokusei If is described as a dating simulation set during summer vacation, where players take on the role of a high school student aiming to deepen relationships with female characters. The core gameplay involves navigating a field map to find and interact with girls. Time management is crucial, as players only have the 20-day summer break to build rapport. Conversations are key, with player choices influencing the narrative path and ultimately determining success in confessing love at the end of the summer. The game features a large cast of 17 female characters, each with their own scenes. The article includes character illustrations and screenshots depicting the field map and character interactions, emphasizing the game's focus on relationships and event progression. This page unveils the world of Dokusei, if with a detailed map of the main town, Sakimachi, and introduces its twin town, Yakifuki. The game revolves around navigating these locations to trigger events and deepen relationships with female characters. Key spots highlighted in Sakimachi include the academy, where you can meet many high school girls even during summer break, the riverbed where events occur under specific conditions, and the unique coffee shop, Otimtim, where you'll encounter Satomi. The player's home acts as a base to review progress and character information. Mysterious hidden locations like a fortune-teller's house are also scattered throughout Sakimachi. Yakifuki is presented as a hub for dates, packed with amusement facilities perfect for taking girls. The article emphasizes that knowing these locations and their purpose is essential for progressing through the game's story and events, featuring various illustrations of characters and screenshots of the detailed town map. This page dives deep into the Sega Saturn version of Dokusei If, specifically focusing on the inclusion of erotic scenes that were cut from the PAC Engine release. The magazine proudly declares an exclusive scoop showcasing these revived moments. The article compares the Saturn version to the PC Engine and PC counterparts, highlighting that the Saturn port aims for graphic parity and content inclusion closer to the original PC game. Various screenshots illustrate this, showing side-by-side comparisons of specific scenes. Featured prominently are profiles of two characters: Yuko Saito, an older woman working at a pharmacy who initially dislikes the protagonist but whose feelings change, and Miharu Suzuki, a high school girl who is described as popular and the focus of rare, intimate scenes. The page includes illustrations and screenshots related to these characters, emphasizing the more mature content available in the Saturn version compared to its console predecessor. The content suggests the Saturn version delivers a more complete experience regarding these key character interactions. This page continues the coverage on the upcoming Sega Saturn idol simulation game, Debut S, highlighting that its release is just a month away. The article focuses on the numerous original elements added specifically for the Saturn version, declaring it's packed with extra content compared to previous iterations or ports, including enhanced opening and ending movies, scaled-up monthly events, and a total of 20 songs. As an idol producer in Debut Bris, you'll need to manage your protégés, and the game offers 5 distinct manager types, each with different starting stats in stamina, skill, aptitude, and income. Choosing the right manager impacts your idol's growth and performance. Communication is key, and giving presents is highly effective for boosting idol stats like trust, HOP, musical sense, and voice production, with different items offering varying benefits. You'll also receive mail, which can bring either positive news or challenges, even from rival idols. Significantly, the article makes it clear why Debut S is recommended for players aged 18 and over. The inclusion of explicit sexy shots. It showcases provocative illustrations, including scenes involving lingerie, swimsuits, and hinting at intimate cohabitation moments. Achieving success in certain jobs, like photo shoots, unlocks even more revealing poses, progressing from swimsuits to underwear. Beyond the mature content, the Saturn version also features original seasonal events, like New Year and Valentine's Day, adding extra depth to the idol management simulation. This page continues the coverage of the adventure game Gekka Mugentan Toriko, focusing on its game system. The article highlights how the game progresses through a combination of movement and event scenes, all presented using 3D CG graphics. You explore the town from a first-person perspective, navigating by selecting directions at branching points using the controller's directional buttons. This method allows the player to smoothly move through the detailed CG environments. Event scenes are triggered at specific locations or through actions like using items. These crucial scenes feature the game's characters, including the protagonist Fred and another character named Anthony, interacting and driving the narrative forward with CG visuals and dialogue. The article emphasizes that these event scenes are key to the game's progression and often contain hints or opportunities to use items. The page also includes an interview with Kenji Takemoto, who collaborated on the original story. He discusses his experience writing for a game compared to novels, and touches upon the visual aspects of the title. A brief profile of Mr. Takemoto is also included, listing some of his previous works. This page dives into the world of Lunar, Silver Star Story, a highly anticipated RPG for the Mega CD. The article continues to introduce the main characters and shares new details about the story and gameplay through screenshots. It explains that the adventure begins in Berg Village, following the protagonist Alex as he embarks on his journey. Screenshots showcase various locations like the White Dragon's Cave and different environments, giving a glimpse of the game's visuals and exploration. The text hints at key story points and character interactions that drive the narrative forward. The page also includes a charming manga strip featuring the game's cast, including Jessica, Kyle, Alex, Nash, Mia, and Luna. This comic seems to depict a light-hearted moment, possibly celebrating Jessica's birthday, adding personality to the characters beyond the main game information. Overall, the page provides a good overview of Lunar, Silver Star Story, blending gameplay details with character focus and a touch of humor. This page continues the exploration of Lunar, Silver Star Story, detailing the journey from Hanmel Island to the Katarina continent and introducing key allies. It focuses on the bustling free trade city of Maribia, described as a vibrant hub. The article highlights travel to Maribia via ship and includes screenshots showcasing the city, the world map, and other environments, giving a visual taste of the adventure ahead. Prominently featured are two new party members, Jessica Alucard and Kyle. Jessica is introduced as a shrine maiden apprentice and the daughter of Melda Alucard. She's depicted as strong-willed, capable of using healing magic, but also possessing a gentle side despite her sometimes rough exterior. Kyle is presented as a powerful mountain bandit leader known for his immense strength and wielding a formidable sword. The page includes striking character artwork for both. Below the game information, a comedic manga strip unfolds, featuring the main cast including Alex, Jessica, Kyle, Nash, Mia, and Luna. The strip centers around a misunderstanding regarding Jessica's birthday, leading to exaggerated reactions and humorous antics between the characters, particularly involving a gift and the characters' reactions to it. It adds a fun, lighthearted touch to the character introductions. This article provides an in-depth look at the characters and early bosses of Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldian. It centers on the 5 core party members. Paik, the sword-wielding hero with lightning magic, EKA, the supportive magic user, Leos, skilled in physical attacks and healing, Elder, the Dragonian warrior with dual swords, and Aman, the fast bird person with heavy weapons. Each character's background, motivations, and combat abilities are explored, accompanied by screenshots. The article then details the initial boss battles. Players will face Frontia with lightning, Lechesta's stat boosts and physical attacks, Bernard the Sorcerer's evolving magical power, and Baran's controlled by Mad Liker. The descriptions and screenshots aim to prepare players, highlighting both ally strengths and enemy tactics, creating anticipation for the game. This page dives into new details about Langrisser 2i. It introduces several new characters designed by Satoshi Urushihara, including the protagonist Daiharl, and characters like Lila, Farah, Lane, and Pierre, providing brief descriptions of their roles and affiliations. The article touches on the character growth system, highlighting class changes earned through experience. A section is dedicated to revealing details about the game's second scenario, describing an escape from a castle involving the main characters and the Veral army, along with subsequent events. The core gameplay is outlined, explaining how players progress through maps, experience the story via conversation scenes, and engage in turn-based battles where commands are issued to units. The page is visually rich, featuring large character illustrations and showcasing original art used for the game's opening animation, alongside several smaller screenshots of map exploration and battle preparation. This page focuses entirely on the action RPG Dark Savior. The article discusses the game's unique parallel scenario system, highlighting that the story branches into 5 distinct paths based on the player's actions, specifically detailing Scenario 1. It follows the protagonist, Lou, as he infiltrates the prison castle, escapes through the underground waterways with his companion, Adaud, and searches for the mysterious substance called Belanium in the underground mine. The page showcases various screenshots depicting exploration in these areas, combat encounters, and key story moments. It also introduces Jailer's Second City, a new urban area players will visit. The text mentions that the game was delayed but emphasizes the depth and replayability offered by its complex branching narrative, hinting at a larger conspiracy led by the character Kultorigen. This page heavily features the upcoming Sega Saturn release of Fatal Fury 3, Road to the Final Victory, showcasing a large illustration of Terry Bogard and a gameplay screenshot. It announces the game's release date of June 28th and its price. The right side of the page focuses on Saturn Kingdom, presenting sales rankings from readers over several weeks in April and May. It notes the market is generally quiet but highlights titles like The Folks of Nohimura Hospital and Dragon Force performing well. The ranking tables list popular games such as The King of Fighters 95, Panzer Dragoon Saga, Snatcher, and Virtua Fighter 2. This section also mentions other magazine features and encourages reader participation. This page features a couple of forums designed for reader interaction with Saturn Fan Magazine. One forum is a prize application, asking readers to rank a selection of recent and upcoming Saturn titles. This includes a mix of genres, from arcade classics like Irem Arcade Classics and action games such as Mega Man X3 and Kagero, to mahjong titles like Idol Janshi Suchipai 2 and Tokimeki Mahjong Graffiti, along with some niche Japanese titles like Shutoku Battle and Thor Seiryu. Readers fill in their details and preferences for a chance to win. The other forum is a general submission postcard, used for contributing to magazine features like the Ranking Street, which ties into the charts seen on the previous page, and other segments like Game Research Institute, as well as sending in illustrations or comments. It's essentially how the magazine gathered reader feedback and participation, standard practice for gaming magazines back then, to build a community feel and gauge player interest. This page is the Ranking Street results, showcasing reader-submitted scores for recent Sega Saturn games. It features a large table listing games by rank, title, publisher, release date, price, total score, and individual reviewer scores. Topping the charts is the epic strategy RPG, Dragon Force. The page dedicates a detailed section to it, breaking down its features and gathering reader feedback. Players praise Dragon Force's grand-scale battles and the satisfaction of commanding large armies strategically, calling these the sweet whispers. However, there are also bitter complaints, with some frustration regarding the inability to control individual soldiers directly in combat and the management required for knights compared to regular soldiers. Beyond Dragon Force, the rankings feature other notable titles like Victory Goal 96, the arcade classic Gradius Deluxe Pack, Snatcher, and even Mortal Kombat 2 Complete Edition. Various reader reviewers offer concise thoughts on several games from the list, touching on things like game structure, pacing, difficulty, and specific elements like character management in RPGs, or mechanics in simulation titles like Ogre Battle Person of Lordly Caliber, or the dating sim Angelique Special. It's fascinating to see how players felt about these games right around their release, direct from the community that supported the Saturn. The developer of Dragon Force even offers a brief comment here. This Ranking Street update focuses on reader-rated Sega Saturn games. Victory Goal 96, a soccer sim, took second place, lauded for its detailed graphics and analog stick controls, despite some control responsiveness issues and AI shortcomings. Gradius Deluxe Pack, a collection of arcade shooters, secured third, praised for its faithful ports and nostalgic music, although minor slowdown and dated visuals of the original Gradius were noted. Snatcher, the cyberpunk adventure game, claimed fourth, with players praising its deep story and atmosphere, while citing linearity and control awkwardness as minor drawbacks. Finally, Chao Aniki, a bizarre shooting game, landed in fifth. Its unconventional style and surreal humor were divisive, with some appreciating its uniqueness, while others found the core gameplay simplistic. Ranking Street's Saturn favorites continue, showcasing reader opinions. Snatcher, 6th, retains its atmosphere and deep story from previous ports, though some prefer the sound or presentation of other versions. Ken Bunny Premiere, 7th, is praised for its dating mechanics and mature content, despite mixed graphics. Romance of the Three Kingdoms, on 5, Wall of Fire, 8th, offers strategic depth, though unit movement detail is debated. Angelique Special, 9th, is loved for its characters, despite some finding the gameplay slow. 7th Cross, 10th, features atmospheric music but challenging puzzles. Finally, NFL Quarterback Club 96 11th is a solid football sim, with minor criticisms regarding text integration. This page continues the Ranking Street feature, covering games ranked from 12th to 18th, based on reader feedback. Coming in at 12th is Virtual Photo Studio, a simulation game where players capture images. Readers found it somewhat tedious, but enjoyed the results and hoped for better refinement. World Cup Golf. Hyatt Dorado Beach is 13th. While praised for its graphics and realistic course reproduction, players found the gameplay pace slow and some UN elements frustrating. Kusun Oyoyo S, an action puzzle game, ranks 14th. Players appreciated the challenging puzzles but found the enemy characters annoying. At 15th is Mahjong Dukyusei Special. Originally drawn in by the mature content, reviewers were pleasantly surprised by the solid Mahjong gameplay and charming characters. The 16th spot goes to Mortal Kombat 2, specifically the complete version. This port was highly praised for its accurate arcade feel, strong computer AI, and overall presentation, with readers expressing excitement for a potential Mortal Kombat 3 release. Gex, the platformer, is 17th. Players found Gex's animations and personality appealing, calling the game decent, but perhaps lacking complexity in design. Finally, Nobunaga's Ambition Returns is 18th. While recognized as an improvement in the strategy series, some readers felt the graphics didn't keep pace with contemporary simulation titles, though the price was seen as reasonable. The next page continues the ranking feature, diving into the late teens. Coming in at 19th is Horror Tour, an adventure game where players felt the limited graphics were a drawback, but the smooth movement between screens and puzzle design were well received. Ranked 21st is Mahjong Angel Lips. Despite initial interest perhaps being due to the mature content, readers were pleasantly surprised by the solid Mahjong gameplay itself and the charm of the characters. Taking the 20th spot is True Pinball. Readers enjoyed the game's music and graphics, praising the realistic ball physics. However, some found the controls awkward and debated the effectiveness of the flipper layout. The page also looks forward with the anticipated ranking. Top spots are held by major titles like Sakura Wars, Street Fighter Alpha 2, and Tokimeki Memorial Forever with You. Reader anticipation highlights a trend towards realistic CG and SF horror titles, with Nights into Dreams specifically called out as highly anticipated from Sega. Finally, the Saturn port wish ranking reveals what games fans want to see on the console. The top requests include juggernauts like Final Fantasy V2, Tekken 2, and Resident Evil. Sega is noted to be listening to these requests, and some desired titles are already in the pipeline. The page also includes a call for game reviews with prizes for submission. This page continues the coverage of the TBS radio collaboration project for the Lunar Silver Star Story radio drama. We get an update on the second round of drama recording, noting that new characters have joined, and the recording is proceeding smoothly. The schedule for upcoming episodes is listed, giving players a preview of the story arcs being covered in the radio drama adaptation, which aligns with the game's plot progression involving characters like Alex, Ayers, Luna, Nash, and Mia. A topic section announces the completion of the recording for the radio drama's opening theme song, titled Tsubasa, with details about the songwriter and a photo of the singer, highlighting the musical component of the project. There's also a section featuring listener interaction, including fan-submitted illustrations related to Lunar, showcasing the community's engagement with the series. Another segment, presented as dialogue between radio personalities Matsuku and Shiba, discusses listener mail and lighthearted topics related to the show and the game's characters. Finally, the page includes a call for mail and illustrations, offering a color paper prize, and invites listeners to a public recording event for the radio drama, reinforcing the interactive nature of this radio project. This page is packed with exciting news and features. We kick off with a news section highlighting upcoming video releases for the Sonic series and Virtua Fighter anime, alongside a giveaway featuring signed papers from the Virtua Fighter voice cast. There's also a report from a test screening event for the Gamera 2, Attack of Legion movie, and details on getting advance tickets for the Tokyo Game Show. Our pickup section features items you won't want to miss, including the movie Virtuosity, the soundtrack for the strategy RPG Dragon Force, a novel, and a music single. In the goods section, there's a fantastic announcement about an LD box set collecting classic Studio Ghibli films like Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, My Neighbor Totoro, and Kiki's Delivery Service. For the artists and fans out there, there's a topic section detailing an illustration contest for the arcade shooter Sengoku Blade, which is heading to the Saturn. Finally, we have the results from recent reader surveys and contests, announcing winners who scored awesome prizes related to games and media featured this month, like items from Tenchi Muyo, Virtua Fighter, Dragon Force, and the movie Virtuosity. This page is dedicated to connecting with the readers through the Conehead Club, It's a lively hub filled with readers' voices, impressions, and even some creative artwork. The "This Issue's Nice" section kicks off with a charming illustration of characters from the RPG Lunar. The main focus is the Readers' Voices Free Talk Special, where fans share their gaming experiences and opinions. We hear from readers discussing everything from spending hours on games like SimCity 2000 and Virtua Fighter 2 to balancing gaming with work and school. There are sections for readers to give feedback on previous issues and offer suggestions for future content, like adding corners for female gamers or fashion. One particularly passionate reader expresses frustration, possibly related to game releases or platform competition, mentioning Warp and Cease in their heated letter. The page also features small manga strips and a fun queue, and a section with the editors, where they answer reader questions about the magazine, their gaming habits, and even their daily routines. Games like Terra Drive, Mega Drive, and various fighting games are mentioned throughout the reader letters and Q&A. It's clear the readers are passionate about their Sega Saturn and the games they love. This page is dedicated to connecting with fans, showcasing reader-submitted illustrations and enthusiastic letters about their favorite Sega Saturn games. The We Are Supporters section features passionate fans sharing their love for titles like the tactical RPG Dragon Force and the dating sim Tokimeki Memorial. Readers express deep dives into gameplay and appreciation for character design. The Free Illustration section is a vibrant display of fan art covering a range of popular games. You'll find characters from the classic RPG Grandia, the fighting series Street Fighter Alpha and Fighting Vipers, and even illustrations related to Macross. It's a testament to the diverse tastes of the Saturn community. Further down, fans express excitement for the popular series Angelique, sharing their experiences and favorite characters. There's also a section dedicated to Kyo Flying Squadron 2, where readers discuss the game's heroine and their reactions. The page wraps up with a column potentially related to the Conehead Club and submission guidelines for aspiring contributors, complete with a fun illustration featuring Sonic the Hedgehog and friends. It's clear this page is a lively hub, powered by the passion of Sega Saturn fans. This page dives deep into the passion behind Saturn development and serves as a launchpad for extensive strategy guides. The left side features an article on General Entertainment's GameWare series, highlighting their dedication to creating software that pushes the Saturn's potential, particularly in leveraging the CD format for impressive video quality. The developers emphasize listening intently to user feedback to refine their games, a theme that resonates with the fan-focused content seen on the previous page. The article includes interviews with key staff discussing their approach to game design and the evolution of the series. The right side is a dynamic introduction to a major feature, the 10 Great Strategy Carnival. Bold artwork depicts characters from various games, including fantasy figures, a graceful woman, and a football scene, teasing the diverse content within. Below the striking title, a list previews the 10 games receiving in-depth strategy coverage, spanning popular titles like the strategic RPG Dragon Force, the rail shooter Panzer Dragoon Saga, the football simulation Victory Goal 96, and the adventure game Kyo Flying Squadron 2. It promises guides covering a wide range of genres for Saturn fans. This page kicks off the deep dive into Sword and Sorcery as part of the 10 Great Strategy Carnival. It acts as a comprehensive guide for navigating the early to mid-game, with a strong focus on acquiring essential items and understanding the game's mechanics. The guide progresses linearly through the game's locations, starting with the initial village, where players can stock up on basic gear before venturing out. Subsequent sections cover areas like Pinakotheka Tower and the Spider's Den, providing details on monsters encountered and crucial items found in treasure chests. It highlights specific acquisition points, such as purchasing a hand axe in Babachop Village, or ensuring you have the right equipment before tackling the boss in Chichola Cave, which is noted as the Ogre Head. The strategy continues into towns like Mirador, emphasizing the importance of upgrading equipment and supplies before challenging the Legion Tower. The page features character art, screenshots showing gameplay moments, and provides valuable data. It includes tables listing available items, weapons, armor, accessories, medicine, with their stats and prices, along with monster data detailing enemy stats like HP, attack, defense, magic, and experience points gained. There's also a useful section on learning spells in different locations, explaining where and how new magic abilities become available. The overall tone is informative and practical, guiding players through crucial early game challenges by focusing on preparation and item acquisition. The next page continues, the comprehensive strategy guide for Sword and Sorcery, delving deeper into the game's progression. This part of the guide covers key locations, like the Legion Tower, the Wilderness, the Ruin, and the Spider's Den. It provides valuable insights into tackling bosses such as the Black Warrior, Knight Ethelred, and Katsuo no Iboshi, offering tips on necessary equipment and spells like the Golem magic to overcome these challenges. The guide highlights important item acquisition points, detailing weapons, armor, and recovery items found in treasure chests or available for purchase in shops within these areas. Character art and gameplay screenshots illustrate the encounters and locations discussed. Monster data for various enemies encountered in these dungeons is also included, giving players an edge in combat. The page concludes by mentioning the recruitment of Kane Cone and the next destination, Klostrenburg, guiding players through crucial mid-game milestones. This page delves deep into strategies and tips for Panzer Dragoon Saga, promising everything from fun, unconventional approaches to ultimate conquering techniques. The main focus is uncovering the secrets of the game, including how to unlock the hidden Pandora's box. It details the specific conditions needed, such as achieving a high total playtime, multiple clears, and a high clear rate. Unlocking the box grants access to various options, like episode selection, customizing your dragon's form, like Alma Knight or Brigade Wing, altering lives, including an infinite life option with Phoenix, and adjusting targeting speed. The page also suggests ways to refresh the experience if you're getting tired of the standard game. This includes trying out specific techniques like continuously locking onto targets or using the powerful Berserk Tornado move. It even explores playing with unofficial peripheral controllers like arcade sticks or even a mouse for a different feel. Finally, there's a section dedicated to reviewing your performance, explaining how the game tracks extensive player data, including high scores, clear times, and various other stats, accessible through a specific button combination on the data screen. A humorous comic strip featuring the creature Ragi-chan provides a lighthearted break from the strategy. This page continues the deep dive into Panzer Dragoon Saga strategy, focusing entirely on the fascinating dragon evolution system. It reveals how your dragon's form and abilities change throughout the game based on accumulated growth points. The page details how these points are calculated, primarily through clear points earned by finishing stages, route points gained by choosing specific paths at branching points, and technical points awarded for high shot accuracy. It illustrates these branching points with screenshots, showing how different routes offer varying point rewards. A major feature is the complete dissection of 7 distinct dragon forms you can achieve, excluding the final form. Each form is presented with key stats, like the required growth points to reach it, shot count, simultaneous lock-on capability, and health. Descriptions highlight their unique characteristics, such as the speed-focused Sky Dart, or the heavily armored Alma Knight and Brigade Wing, which were mentioned on the previous page. This section serves as a comprehensive guide to understanding and influencing your dragon's growth path. This page continues the deep dive into mastering Panzer Dragoon Saga for high scores, aiming for an impressive 1.8 million points. The guide breaks down strategies for maximizing points throughout the game, highlighting specific enemies and scenarios where focused attacks yield massive bonuses. Key tactics include prioritizing locking onto multiple targets simultaneously, especially powerful foes like assault beasts and sections of the battleship, and aiming for specific enemy parts for bonus points. It emphasizes that achieving maximum lock-ons is crucial, often outweighing the time bonus gained from clearing stages quickly. The page provides specific point targets for mastering these techniques in different sections of the game. Furthermore, it stresses the importance of understanding the ADEC difficulty multiplier, which directly impacts your score potential and is influenced by your performance and use of continues. A set of high-score warriors precepts offers core advice, such as avoiding excessive use of Berserk mode and continuously aiming to increase simultaneous lock-ons as your dragon evolves into forms like the Sky Dart. This page is essential reading for anyone serious about climbing the scoreboards in Panzer Dragoon Saga. This page shifts gears completely, diving into the epic strategy game, Dragon Force. It provides crucial early game advice on challenging the formidable Goldark, emphasizing the importance of obtaining the ultimate power source, the Dragon Force, to defeat the evil god Madruk later on. This involves solving various mysteries that unfold as your chosen ruler grows in power. The main focus here is a guide to conquering the 3 toughest challenges in the late game. the Shrines of the Forest, Desert, and Snow. These shrines hold powerful divine artifacts needed for the final confrontation. The Forest Shrine Guide details battling Grace's forces, highlighting her powerful magic and the need for strategic unit deployment, using characters like Reinhardt, Tiras, and Gongos. The Desert Shrine focuses on Gideon and his dragon units, stressing the effectiveness of magic like Meteor Storm and specific character matchups involving Leon, Juno, and Mikazuki. Finally, the Snow Shrine covers the fight against Goldark's brother, Giseldark, and his undead dragon army, mentioning Wayne and the strategy of using characters like Goldark himself to acquire the powerful Stargem sword. The page features character portraits of the key enemy commanders and several screenshots showcasing the game's distinct battle system, with large unit clashes and magic effects. It touches upon the unique final skill for the player's chosen ruler, such as Leon's Dragon Flash. This is essential reading for any Dragon Force player looking to tackle the endgame challenges and secure victory. This page delves into the early game strategy for Dragon Force, focusing on two key rulers, Reinhardt of the Tradnoa Kingdom and Goldark of the Fundaria Empire. It provides detailed route guides and tips for the initial stages, explaining the challenges and advantages unique to each nation. For Tradnoa, led by Reinhardt, the guide highlights its vulnerable position, surrounded by enemies, but notes its strong starting army and high initial general levels. A specific route is suggested, emphasizing securing key locations like Agnias Castle. For Fundaria, under the command of Goldark, the page points out its initial disadvantage with fewer castles, but highlights the strategic benefit of having fewer invasion routes, making defense easier. The guide outlines a primary route, focusing on capturing Blatlid Castle early on. Both sections list the initial generals joining the respective rulers, detailing their starting levels, troop types, and key abilities. There's also a story section touching upon the greater conflict involving Madruk's revival and the relationship between Goldark and his brother Giseldark, setting the stage for the game's narrative. The page includes maps illustrating the suggested routes and various screenshots of gameplay and character portraits. This is essential reading for players starting out with either Reinhardt or Goldark to establish a strong early foothold. This page is all about mastering the direct shot in J-League Victory Goal 96. It kicks off the 10 Big Strategy Carnival by focusing on fundamental techniques for scoring. The guide emphasizes that player ability and condition significantly impact the success of direct shots. It stresses the critical importance of delivering accurate crosses into the box as the foundation for these scoring opportunities. Choosing the correct direction for your shot and timing the button input perfectly after receiving the cross are highlighted as key skills players need to develop. Several scoring patterns are introduced, broken down by where the cross is aimed. It details techniques for shooting directly from a cross aimed at the near post, often involving quick button presses. It also covers shooting from crosses directed towards the far post, explaining how positioning and timing lead to goals. Finally, it touches upon executing direct shots from free kicks near the sideline. Screenshots illustrate each technique, showing the player positioning and the intended shot path. This guide offers essential tips for players looking to increase their scoring rate by effectively utilizing direct shots. This page continues the J.League Victory Goal 96 Strategy Guide, diving into advanced scoring patterns and fundamental ball control techniques. It highlights high-probability shooting opportunities beyond simple direct shots. The guide details specific scenarios for scoring, such as aiming for the goalpost in certain situations, Pattern 1, shooting from just outside the penalty area arc, Pattern 2, near post shot, faking out the keeper with a dribble, Pattern 3, using a heel shot to beat the keeper who rushes out, Pattern 4, and even a subtle heel lift over an advancing keeper, Pattern 5. Each pattern is illustrated with screenshots showing player positioning and the sequence of events. It also covers vital basic techniques for ball keeping, explaining how trapping the ball in the desired direction using directional input can help you evade defenders. Mastering receiving passes is crucial, with normal passes requiring a trap while through passes allow for immediate dribbling or shooting. Effectively changing direction to shield the ball is shown as a way to prevent opponents from easily stealing it. Finally, the guide touches on defensive necessities like clearing the ball decisively when under pressure near your own goal, ideally towards the front line with a dash and clear command. It also shows how direct passes using the long pass button can quickly transition play to the attack, bypassing the midfield. Overall, this page offers a comprehensive set of tips to improve both scoring chances and basic ball handling in the game. This page offers a comprehensive strategy guide for the initial 3 stages of the intense arcade shooter, Metal Black. The primary objective highlighted is achieving a no-miss clear through the game's challenging first half. The guide begins by emphasizing the importance of mastering the ship's weapons, especially the powerful Max laser, fueled by collecting energy balls called neurons. It details how the Max laser can be used strategically against certain boss attacks to generate additional energy interference. It also provides tips on handling ground enemies and navigating terrain, noting the lack of dedicated ground weapons. Strategies for each stage are laid out. Stage 1 focuses on neuron collection and defeating the Zango mid-boss and the first major boss, Aparthead, detailing its attack patterns. Stage 2 warns of complex enemy attack patterns and covers the neutron ball group and Oitner formation mid-bosses before tackling the multi-stage Fedro boss fight, recommending evasion and beam counters. Stage 3 increases pressure with faster enemies and shrinking terrain, advising players on dealing with the ground enemy Arima, the terrain-altering Anabina and Zanko mid-boss, and finally the Stage 3 boss pair, Dio and Gishin, stressing the importance of quickly defeating the vulnerable Dio. The guide provides specific points and attack patterns for each major enemy encounter. This page focuses on strategic insights for FIDA, the Emblem of Justice remake, detailing characters and important points for the later stages, specifically areas 4 through 6. The guide first delves into the subtle relationship between characters and their attributes, explaining how the protagonist's law/chaos/neutral alignment influences which units become allies, affecting the party composition significantly. It briefly recaps the events and objectives from the initial areas 1 to 3, covering the liberation effort and initial battles. Moving on to the new content, strategy points are provided for Area 4, covering the Jackal operation, with flying units being key. Area 5, titled Jackal's Return, involves escorting a commander and navigating tough defensive setups. Finally, Area 6, Sanctuary, details a battle near a temple, emphasizing strategic positioning on staircases and managing enemy formations. Screenshots of the battle maps illustrate the terrain and unit placements for these areas. The page also introduces the characters who can join your cause in these stages. From Area 4 you meet the elf Aaliyah and the beastman Archie. Area 5 brings in Consori and the powerful mage Sonania. Area 6 adds the knights Lance and Richard, along with the unique character Stinger. Each character is shown with their portrait and a brief description, often noting their alignment. This page provides a detailed strategy guide for the adventure game, Nomura Hospital People, focusing on its branching narrative and multiple endings. The core gameplay mechanic revolves around accumulating Miho points and Rai points, which determine the final outcome. The guide breaks the story down into 20 key save points, each detailing a significant event or interaction. Decisions made during these points, or sometimes unexpectedly during dialogue, impact your affinity with the two main characters, Miho and Cry, both depicted as nurses in the game's illustrations and screenshots. The page also highlights other important events that are critical for achieving specific bad endings, essentially mapping out the game's decision points and their consequences to help players navigate towards their desired conclusion. This page continues the strategy guide for Nomura Hospital People, specifically detailing how to achieve the Miho ending by accumulating Miho points. It outlines 5 key actions the player must take at crucial points in the game. First, it highlights that even changing clothes is part of the job, noting a key moment discovering something on the rooftop and the importance of choosing the nurses center next. Second, it emphasizes helping Miho by resisting temptations and focusing on assisting both Miho and her friend Aiko. This is vital for earning Miho points. Third, making a promise with Miho involves visiting her friend Momo in the hospital, with the path slightly different depending on whether the player already knows Momo. Fourth, a secret meeting with Miho requires meeting her in the lobby 30 minutes before the agreed time. Finally, achieving the Miho ending culminates in drinking Miho's tea after resolving the main case. The page features character artwork of Miho in various outfits, including changing clothes and a nurse uniform, as well as illustrations of Aiko and Momo and screenshots of hospital locations, guiding players through the necessary steps to secure Miho's affection and her specific ending. This page provides a comprehensive guide for achieving the Forimakino ending in Nomura Hospital People by focusing on 7 key actions to increase Fori's love points. It details specific choices and interactions required at various stages of the game. The steps include ignoring the character Kenji, helping Momoko, clarifying your relationship with Rai directly, listening attentively to Rai's complaints and worries, making the crucial choice to side with Rai over Miho when prompted, showing her kindness during a climactic moment, and ultimately, sharing a cup of black tea with her. Each action described is crucial for steering the narrative towards Rai's specific ending. The page features multiple illustrations of Rais in different outfits and emotional states, along with screenshots showcasing key scenes and locations tied to these choices, giving players a clear path to unlock the Rais ending. This page presents a comprehensive strategy guide for the game Kyun Kyun Bunny Premiere, focusing specifically on the complex branching paths within Chapter 2. It highlights Tuesday as the critical turning point, where your actions significantly alter the story's direction. The detailed flowchart illustrates how various choices and events lead to different locations and outcomes, affecting relationships with characters like Rina and Manatsuko. The guide provides clear routes depending on player choices and time spent, guiding players through interactions and leading to different dates or events. Scattered across the page are vibrant illustrations of the main characters, Rina and Manatsuko, in different outfits, alongside screenshots showing various in-game locations, helping players visualize their path through this chapter and successfully navigate the narrative to pursue their desired character. This page dives deep into the early levels of Kyo Flying Squadron, offering a strategy guide focused on uncovering hidden items and secrets across the first 2 stages. You see the game's charming protagonist, Rami Nanaze, prominently featured in her powerful raccoon guise. The guide emphasizes that while the game looks cute, finding everything, especially the treasure needed to progress, requires careful exploration. Detailed sections break down the strategies for the initial levels, pointing out tricky spots and easy Katamis locations where valuable items and secret paths are tucked away, often behind seemingly ordinary walls or objects. There's also coverage of the boss encounters for each stage, providing tactics to defeat the formidable Daruma and Tetsukanon foes. The guide highlights the importance of item collection, mentioning chests containing crucial power-ups and weapons that aid Reimi in her quest, and discussing the bonus games where players can rack up extra points. It even touches on Rami's powerful transformation, the Super T-carrying doll, a key tool for overcoming obstacles. Overall, the page serves as an essential resource for players looking to fully explore and conquer the opening chapters of Kyo Flying Squadron. This page concludes the strategy guide for Angelique Special, focusing on the core of the game, the Guardian Saints. It provides detailed personal data for each of the 9 Guardians, including their personality traits, how player actions affect their relationships, and compatibility information, which is crucial for success in the Queen's examination. The page highlights the Kid Trio, Marcel, Zephyl, and Olivie, who are the youngest Guardians and newcomers in this version. It also features a fun section showcasing memorable and characteristic lines from each Guardian, giving players a taste of their personalities through dialogue snippets accompanied by character portraits. Finally, there's information about a character popularity contest for readers to participate in, celebrating the beloved cast. Comic strips at the bottom offer lighthearted interactions between the characters, adding a touch of humor. This page delves into high-level strategy for Virtua Fighter 2, focusing on the characters Wolf Hawkfield and Lao Chan within the magazine's Virtua Coliseum section. For Wolf, it emphasizes mastering his signature grappling move, the giant swing, detailing optimal input timing and situational awareness for pulling it off successfully, especially when countering opponents or exploiting openings after guarding attacks. It highlights the importance of quick movement and understanding when to commit to the throw. For Lao Chan, the guide focuses on countering opponents, particularly using attacks that knock opponents back for big damage. It explains how to use moves like the knee blast and vertical upper to bait and punish opponents, especially those trying to low attack. A key technique covered is using the dragon screw as a counter to mid-level kicks, highlighting its effectiveness. It also discusses the utility of the fast road dropkick for its quick startup time and potential for knocking opponents down, and how to read opponent movements to effectively apply pressure and maintain advantage. The strategies presented here are clearly aimed at players looking to refine their character mastery and climb the ranks in Virtua Fighter 2. This page dives deep into the character strategy for Lao Chan in Virtua Fighter 2, focusing heavily on his diagonal palm attack and its role in setting up powerful air combinations. The guide emphasizes that mastering the diagonal palm is fundamental to Lao Chi's game, particularly for hitting opponents as a counter and launching them into the air. It provides techniques for inputting the diagonal palm quickly and consistently. However, the guide also warns against over-reliance on the diagonal palm, noting that it can be easily countered if used predictably, especially after being guarded. It suggests mixing up tactics, maintaining distance, and using other moves like low punch or mid attacks to transition into the diagonal palm when opportunities arise. A significant portion is dedicated to maximizing air combinations after launching an opponent. It highlights starting options like hidden sky palm or certain kicks that lead into air combos, and, importantly, explains the strategic use of the guard button during combinations to improve execution and link specific moves like the diagonal palm into the leg reversal kick. The article also offers advice on dealing with opponents who have counter moves and what defensive options like Heo has when his diagonal palm is blocked, suggesting techniques like stepping back or using hidden sky palm. Overall, it presents a detailed look at Legyu's offensive pressure and combination potential. This page presents content from the AM2 fan section, starting with a farewell to a popular fan corner. The left side highlights a special feature showcasing submitted illustrations from readers who love the Virtua series. This section, which ran for 2 years, is concluding with a display of fan art featuring characters primarily from Virtua Fighter, like Pai-chan, Sarah Bryant, and Jackie Bryant, as well as characters from Fighting Vipers, such as Honey. The page includes thank you notes to the contributors and promises a potential reunion when Virtua Fighter 3 arrives on the Saturn. The right side focuses on AM2 news, specifically Volume 7 of the AM2 fan feature. The main highlight is the confirmed Sega Saturn port of Virtua Cop 2. Screenshots of the Saturn version are revealed, showing the intense gunplay and characteristic car chase sequences. The article confirms that all 3 arcade stages plus an extra stage will be perfectly recreated. It also briefly touches upon Sonic the Fighters, referencing it alongside Virtua Fighter Kids, and includes promotional artwork of the main protagonists from Virtua Cop 2, including James Coolidge, Janet, and Jeanette. This page offers a glimpse into the anticipation for these arcade hits making their way to the Sega Saturn. This page confirms the Sega Saturn port of Sonic the Fighters, highlighting it as the most speedy fighting game. The article dives into the game's unique system, particularly the barrier, instead of a traditional guard, which has durability and can break. It also explains evasion techniques, both standard and evasive attacks, as well as throws, close-range attacks, and aerial moves. A crucial defensive mechanic is the ukememi, or recovery, after being hit into the air. The game also features environmental interaction, allowing characters to climb and attack from walls. A comeback mechanic called Hyper Mode is introduced, increasing speed and reducing attack startup/recovery. For newcomers, there's an automatic mode, which seems to handle combos automatically. Screenshots throughout the page showcase Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Espio demonstrating these mechanics in action. Overall, the page gives an in-depth look at the fast-paced, barrier-focused combat system coming to the Saturn. This page provides detailed breakdowns for 8 characters in Sonic Championship. It features Sonic the Hedgehog, Miles Tails Prower, Amy Rose, Bean the Dynamite, Espio the Chameleon, Knuckles the Echidna, Knack the Weasel, referred to as Fang the Sniper here, and Bark the Polar Bear. Each character section includes a brief description of their playstyle, a list of their key moves and inputs covering punches, kicks, throws, specials, and evasions, alongside screenshots showing them in action. The commentary highlights Sonic as a balanced character, relying heavily on his hypermode specials and effective use of the barrier. Tails excels in mobility and utilizes projectile attacks. Amy Rose's powerful hammer attacks are central to her game, particularly fast hypermode variations. Bean the Dynamite focuses on bomb projectiles and high-damage attacks. Espio the Chameleon boasts long-reaching attacks and powerful specials, preferring to fight at a distance. Knuckles is noted for a balanced offense and defense, with strong uppercuts and spin attacks. Knack the Weasel has the longest reach in the game, and features potent corkscrew punches and rapid snipes. Finally, Bark the Polar Bear moves slowly but hits with maximum power, relying on devastating grabs and a strong guard/attack style. The page effectively summarizes each fighter's unique approach to the game's mechanics. This page provides the latest information on the Saturn version of Virtua Fighter Kids. It confirms the rumor about being able to use Dural, detailing the specific button commands required to unlock both silver and gold Dural after achieving an 8-win streak against an opponent. The page then dives into Dural's moveset, showcasing various attack and throw combos with accompanying screenshots. It highlights Dural's ability to PK cancel and notes several effective combo strings. The Saturn version updates include the reveal of a new, original Kids mode, where players can perform flashy combos by simply mashing buttons, making the game accessible to beginners. A screenshot of the mode select screen, featuring the new mode, is also shown. indicating the port is progressing well. This page features information on Idol Mahjong Final Romance Premium Package on the left, showcasing character art, the game's 18+ rating, and details of the special edition, including a dress-up software version and an art book. It notes the character designer is Sugiyama Gensho, and the package's release date and price. On the right, the Game Research Lab section previews strategy guides for several games, highlighting Thor Chronicles of the Spirit King, alongside mentions of Great Adventure, The Miracle of St. Elmo, Fishing Koshin, 7 Secret Mansions, and Doraemon, Nobita, and the Resurrected Planet. The main focus is a detailed strategy guide for Thor, specifically covering how to progress through temples and acquire spirit allies like the Spirit of Earth, Bo. Screenshots illustrate key moments, like exploring environments, returning to a village via a river, and overcoming obstacles like a giant ball blocking a path in the Colosseum ruins, emphasizing the need for specific items or spirit abilities to proceed. This page continues the strategic guide for Beyond Oasis, focusing on acquiring the Spirit of Sound, Brass. It details the progression through the Spirit of Sound Temple, which is accessed via the Colosseum ruins mentioned on the previous page. A guide covers areas like the temple's basement floors, B1F and B2F, illustrating the path with multiple map screenshots. Challenges include navigating puzzles involving breaking pillars with a special ball, activating electrical switches using the robot spirit, and pushing large iron balls to open the way. The page also highlights finding useful items like bombs and describes a practice area. The guide culminates with the boss encounter against Tim Tim, a sandy creature vulnerable after its protective sand is destroyed, warning players about its tornado attacks. This section provides essential steps and visual cues to help players locate Brass and overcome the temple's obstacles. This page continues the guide for Beyond Oasis, shifting focus to the early game strategy, specifically on securing funds and effectively clearing the initial towns. The guide emphasizes the importance of choosing your battles wisely, suggesting players level up against weaker enemies before taking on tougher foes. It maps out the recommended order for liberating the first few towns, starting with Valencia and Almeria, and details the types of enemies you'll encounter in each, including different standard enemies and early bosses like Messeurs and Prelo. Beyond ground combat, the guide also covers sea battles and trading. It highlights the potential for significant profit through naval victories and suggests Venice as an excellent base for trading, recommending players buy low and sell high with commodities like nutmeg and cinnamon. It briefly touches on the 3 types of naval attacks and advises using melee in the early stages. Finally, the page stresses the critical role of hiring companions throughout the game, explaining their importance in both land and sea combat, and lists the various allies you can recruit early on to help with your journey. A map shows the Mediterranean setting of the game. This page provides a comprehensive guide for the early stages of the adventure game, Nanatsu no Hikan, 7 Mansion, focusing on how to rescue the protagonist's kidnapped lover, Reina. The guide emphasizes that successful exploration and solving mysteries hinge on finding the right items, particularly in the game's initial mansions. Detailed strategies are offered for navigating the second mansion, the Chinese Doll Mansion. It highlights the importance of collecting key items like the Snow Sword, Emerald Dragon Sword, Jade Serpent Sword, and Jade Shield from specific locations on the first floor, often involving interacting with statues of historical figures like the first emperor and empress. The guide then moves to the second and third floors, detailing the puzzles and items needed there, such as the army arrangement, hat, and cigarette case, crucial for progressing. The focus then shifts to the third mansion, the Big Dipper Mansion. This section explains how to solve the mystery related to the Big Dipper constellation across its 3 floors to obtain necessary keys. Players are guided on where to find items like the Bear's Claw, Tiger's Claw, Big Dipper Hand Scroll, and Sheep's Horn by examining various carvings and objects. Maps of both the second and third mansions are included, providing crucial visual aids for players to navigate the complex layouts and locate important points and items. This page provides expert guides for 2 Sega Saturn games, Fishing Koshin and Doraemon, Nobita and the Star of Revival. For Fishing Koshin, the guide details strategies for different rounds. It covers essential techniques like proper lure operation, selecting the best boat captain, setting the drag correctly, and mastering baiting methods for specific rounds. There's a breakdown of various lures and their effects, plus crucial tips on successfully reeling in your catch. The Doraemon section dives into defeating bosses and clearing stages. It outlines tactics for challenging bosses like the giant robot, the Dragon, and a smaller robot that appears afterward. The guide also explains stage mechanics, such as destroying barriers by hitting moving lines. Screenshots show intense boss encounters and stage layouts. It also describes useful items like the Kuso game, Chikante Shiakusha, time stop medicine, small light, and Atarugan. The advice emphasizes understanding boss weak points and utilizing items effectively to progress. This page features an in-depth queue and a session with the Sega development team for the simulation game J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru. The article answers common questions and frustrations from players looking to manage their virtual soccer clubs effectively. The developers address various aspects of the game, including the distinct soccer styles of the J-League's 14 clubs, providing a table summarizing their frequent formations and tactics. They also explain how these styles influence club performance and player development. Key gameplay mechanics like improving team cooperation through training and understanding the impact of different training regimens like running and strength building are covered. Players' struggles with winning the championship and understanding financial dynamics, such as why spectator fees might decrease even when the team is performing well, are clarified. The developers delve into player contracts, explaining how salaries can change annually based on scouting and economic conditions. The page even satisfies a curious fan question about the true identity and physical attributes of the game's secretary character, complete with a character portrait. Screenshots throughout illustrate menus, tactics screens, and match results, helping players visualize the discussed points. This page provides an extensive database listing for every Sega Saturn game released up to May 17, 1996. Totaling 257 titles. It breaks down the releases by genre, including fighting action, role-playing, simulation, adventure, and shooting. For each game listed under its genre, the page includes essential information, such as the software number, the game's title, its publisher, release date, original price, backup data requirements, compatible peripherals, with a handy abbreviation key provided separately, age rating, a total score, and its ranking. It's a fantastic resource for seeing the breadth of the Saturn library, just under a year and a half into its life cycle, offering a snapshot of the console's diverse game catalog available at that point. This page continues the comprehensive Sega Saturn database, covering additional genres beyond those listed previously. We see sections dedicated to sports games, featuring 33 titles, puzzle games with 20 entries, mahjong and other table games counting 43 titles, and finally an other category encompassing 29 diverse titles. It's impressive to see the variety the Saturn offered, catering to fans of everything from realistic sports simulations like Virtual Striker or World Series Baseball, to classic puzzle challenges like Columns or Baku Baku Animal. The mahjong section shows the console's popularity in Japan for traditional table games, while the other category includes unique titles that defy easy classification. This database provides a valuable snapshot of the breadth of the Saturn library, detailing essential information for each game released up to that point. This page serves as an essential resource for Sega Saturn players encountering issues with their games, such as glitches or unexpected behavior. It provides a comprehensive list of contact information for various game manufacturers. The main focus is on technical support, offering phone numbers, addresses, and specific department names to reach out to, while inquiries about game strategies or walkthroughs are explicitly stated as generally not accepted. Players are encouraged to contact manufacturers regarding software malfunctions or other technical problems. The page also includes operating hours for these support lines and notes key information, such as procedures for mail-in inquiries, often requiring a self-addressed, stamped envelope. This directory was clearly a crucial tool for gamers needing assistance with their Saturn titles back in the day, highlighting the support structure in place for the console's extensive library. This page is dedicated to a reader survey and a prize giveaway, encouraging readers to provide feedback on the magazine and their gaming habits. The survey covers various topics, including reader demographics, preferred magazine content like articles, hardware ownership, listing various consoles like Sega Saturn, PlayStation, Super Famicom, Neo Geo, and more, and their experiences with Sega Saturn software. Readers could win prizes by completing the survey and sending in a postcard. The prizes included popular Sega Saturn software titles such as Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, Night Striker S, Darius 2, Wizardry Vi and Vi 2 combined, and Desu Roll. Kyokai Toshikara no Dasutsu. They also offered telephone cards featuring artwork related to the game, Dakusei. If. The page also includes several lists referenced by the survey questions, detailing the articles featured in this issue, a list of other gaming magazines, a comprehensive list of gaming hardware, and an extensive list of Sega Saturn software titles released or discussed. This provides context for the survey questions and showcases the breadth of content covered in the magazine and the games available for the Saturn at the time. This page features news on the quiz game Brain Battle Q, highlighting the results of its April 1996 National Championship, announcing top winners and special awards. It also includes a promotion for the game, inviting readers to participate in future tournaments. The right side kicks off a new review series called Impression, where 10 editorial staff members provide their hands-on impressions of software scheduled for release by the next issue. This first installment features reviews of upcoming titles like the classic RPG bundle Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete, the frantic racer/shooter Kingdom Grand Prix, the fantasy adventure Sword and Sorcery, the sci-fi shooter DEFCON 5, the unique action game Desirol, Escape from the Dying City, and the legendary SHMUP Darius Gaiden. The goal is to give readers a feel for these games before they hit the shelves, helping them decide what to buy. This page features the first installment of the Impression review series, where 10 reviewers from the magazine staff offer their initial thoughts on upcoming Sega Saturn software. It includes a breakdown of each reviewer's preferred genres and their scores for games they played across different categories, providing context for their individual opinions. The main focus is on quick reviews of 6 upcoming titles. Included are impressions of the classic RPG bundle Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete, described as a challenging experience for dedicated players with its deep dungeon exploration. Screenshots show the familiar first-person dungeon view. Sword and Sorcery is highlighted for its enjoyable character conversations and use of 3D perspective, with reviewers noting its bright atmosphere and charming cast. A screenshot shows the game's isometric 3D viewpoint. Also covered are the unique action game Desirol, Escape from the Dying City, the racer/shooter Shippumahu Daisakusen, the iconic shooter Darius 2, and the sci-fi exploration title DEFCON 5. The reviewers share their initial feelings on gameplay mechanics, difficulty, and overall appeal for each game. The page also includes a roundtable discussion where the reviewers expand on their impressions and the nuances of reviewing different genres. Average scores and recommendations for who might enjoy each game are provided, with Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete averaging 6.2 for hardcore RPG fans, and Sword and Sorcery averaging 5.9 for those who enjoy quirky RPGs. The next page continues the Impression series, presenting initial thoughts from the magazine staff on several upcoming Sega Saturn titles, identified as reference exhibits. Reviews for Desirol, Escape from the Ruined City, Shippumahu Daisakusen, Darius 2, and DEFCON 5 continue from the previous page, with reviewers expanding on their experiences with gameplay feel, difficulty, and overall appeal. Average scores for these games range from 5.7 to 6.3, reflecting a mixed reception. New games reviewed include Hyper Reversion, a 3D fighting and shooting game. Screenshots show its polygonal visuals and fast-paced action, though reviewers noted control complexity. It received a 5.7 average score. Dragon Ball Z, Idainaru Dragon Ball Densetsu is also featured, showcasing its unique system, allowing multiple characters to fight on screen at once, depicted in a screenshot with several iconic characters. This entry garnered a 4.7 average score. Lastly, Idol Mahjong Final Romance Premium Package is covered, presented as a mahjong game aimed at fans, bundled with bonus content like character art. The reviews provide a brief but insightful look into the early states of these diverse Saturn games. This page highlights Stenk's popular fighting series, with a major feature on Fatal Fury 3, Road to the Final Victory, announcing its arrival on the Sega Saturn. The spread showcases dynamic character artwork, including series icon Terry Bogard, prominently featured as a special pickup title. Gameplay screenshots reveal the game's visuals and fighting action. The article details the game's premise, featuring familiar faces and introducing several new fighters who join the battle in South Town. It also discusses the implementation of new gameplay systems, promising that the Saturn version faithfully recreates the Neo Geo original experience. The page conveys excitement for the game's release, hinting at further information to come. This page features J-SWAT, a tactical 3D shooter from Banpresto. The game emphasizes both detailed mission planning, allowing players to decide on everything from strategy to equipment, and intense real-time action. You take on the role of a member of the Japan Special Weapon and Tactics Team, tackling dangerous situations like arresting criminals who have occupied buildings. Before each mission, players must carefully analyze maps and information to determine enemy and ally positions and select appropriate weapons, though there's an auto-setup option for newcomers. Once deployed, missions unfold with time limits, requiring quick thinking and effective communication with your team. The game incorporates a first-person perspective, showing the battlefield and crucial use elements like your weapon, ammo, and directional indicators. Upon mission completion, performance is rigorously evaluated by the commanding officer, based on factors like success, damage taken, and shot accuracy, with the results sometimes reported as news. The game also delves into the world of J-SWAT, detailing the unit's origins as a police special forces team, and its connections to other entities like the equipment provider, Kawaju Heavy Industries, and hostile organizations like the Handgunners, who have ties to an American arms manufacturer, Hegerban Corp. It's a deep dive into a tactical simulation with strategic depth and a detailed fictional universe. The next page introduces Toki no Tantei, Dracula Detective, a cinematic 3D adventure game for the Sega Saturn. Set in 1939 Germany, players step into the shoes of a time detective investigating a mysterious case aboard the airship Lorelei. The game is described as featuring full CG movies for its narrative and movement sequences, emphasizing a cinematic feel. Gameplay revolves around exploring the airship, interacting with various passengers and crew members to gather information, and utilizing a command system that includes items, a special ability, and a futuristic communication device called the Vigiphone for hints and information from the future. The article highlights several key characters you will meet during the investigation, presenting their portraits, along with brief descriptions of their roles on the ship. It also includes a helpful layout map of Deck A of the Lorelei to aid players in navigating the airship's interior. The overall tone suggests a focus on atmospheric investigation and character interaction within a time-traveling mystery premise. This page dives into Terra Cresta 3D, a polygonal remake of the classic shooting game. It highlights how the game has been reborn for the Saturn, featuring entirely new 3D graphics for the ship, enemies, and stages, while aiming to retain the original's atmosphere. The core of the gameplay still revolves around collecting combination parts to power up your ship. The article details both standard weapons like the reliable laser and the target-locking homing laser, and explains that combining parts unlocks powerful special weapons. The most powerful form, the Phoenix, is also showcased. Screenshots feature the new polygonal designs for enemies like the Wing Galabar and the J-Ro/Zakuros, as well as environmental details like reflective cannons and rising sand effects. A significant mid-boss, named Chubo, is also introduced, noted for its massive size and challenging attacks. The page emphasizes the visual upgrade to 3Ds, while preserving the fundamental combination shooting action that fans of the original Terra Cresta will recognize. This page features Greatest 996, the latest and most popular baseball simulation game for the Sega Saturn, officially approved by the Japan Professional Baseball Organization. This entry focuses heavily on realism, offering a variety of camera angles to enhance the viewing experience, though some lower angles can make judging pitch locations tricky. The game boasts multiple authentically recreated stadiums, each with unique characteristics and atmospheric details. Player data has been extensively updated, featuring a large roster of players, including stars like Ichiro and Hideki Matsui, with their stats based on the previous season. Multiple game modes are available, such as Exhibition, Tournament, Pennant Race, and Team Edit, offering players various ways to enjoy the season. The game also includes improved live commentary, with increased variation and more dynamic player actions, making running, fielding, and throwing feel more responsive. Realistic in-game events, like rain delays and injuries, are also simulated to add to the immersion. Overall, the game aims to deliver a highly realistic and updated baseball experience. This page dives deep into the highly anticipated special edition of Tokimeki Memorial Forever. With you on the Sega Saturn, it's confirmed that only a special edition and a deluxe edition are being released for Saturn, with no standard version. The focus here is detailing the contents of the special edition, centered around an impressive special binder. This binder features beautiful artwork of Shiori Fujisaki on the front and game information on the back, essentially serving as the game packaging itself. Inside the binder, buyers will find a power memory, essential for saving your progress in this lengthy dating simulation, along with stickers featuring characters. There are also special divider cards, illustrated with seasonal artwork, adding a nice touch to organize your binder. The package includes a dedicated case to hold the game's CD and its jacket, which itself unfolds into an illustration of the many girls you can pursue. Finally, a calendar is included, featuring various characters. The deluxe edition is mentioned as including character cards, distinguishing it from the special edition. This breakdown confirms the special edition is packed with desirable merchandise for fans, making it a premium release. This page details the changes made to the Sega Saturn version of Tokimeki Memorial Forever with You compared to the PlayStation release, aiming for differentiation. A major visual change is the addition of colorful hair for the girls during the Sports Festival minigames, adding a vibrant touch. New events like the 100 meters dash have been included, while the PlayStation version's 4 minigames, borrowing race, spoon relay, ball toss, and three-legged race, are still present, although the spoon relay is noted as potentially difficult due to button mashing. The Green Day minigame is also different. The PlayStation's shooting event has been replaced with ring toss. This change allows players to earn items and deepen their relationships with the girls, adding more strategic depth. Significant alterations have been made to the concert and movie content. The Saturn version features updated and somewhat maniacal content, reflecting current trends, with impressive CG visuals for the movies. Finally, the page showcases completed screenshots from various date and after-school events, confirming that many character visuals and locations for these key interaction moments are finished, promising plenty of scenes to enjoy. The reviewer notes smooth progress on the game's development. This page dives into the spin-off puzzle game, Tokimeki Memorial Taisen Puzzle Dama, featuring the beloved characters from the dating simulation game discussed on the previous page. Finally ported, fans who have been waiting since the arcade release can now play this competitive puzzle game on their Saturn. Players can choose from 11 popular heroines and battle it out. What makes this game charming is the adorable expressions of the characters, who show various reactions like smiling, crying, or pouting, depending on the match's progress and combos. The characters also have unique dialogue, adding to their charm. The core gameplay is a falling block puzzle. Pieces called Kodama and Udama fall, and matching 3 or more vertically or horizontally clears them. Clearing Kodama turns surrounding pieces into Udama, which are crucial for sending garbage blocks to your opponent when cleared in large chains. Success hinges on creating large combos to overwhelm the opponent. Compared to the arcade version, the Saturn release adds new Dama types like Zendama, Akudama, and Kuidama, each with unique effects like changing surrounding pieces or eating others, adding strategic depth. While based on the arcade, the home version has differences and original elements, including adjustable difficulty and button layouts. The page showcases various character reactions and special moves within the puzzle gameplay. This page showcases 2 notable Konami titles coming to the Sega Saturn. First up is the unique adventure game Policenauts, previously released on PC and PlayStation. It tells the story of Jonathan Ingram, a former policeman frozen in space for 25 years, who returns to solve the murder of his ex-wife. The game blends adventure investigation with intense shooting action, which is highlighted as being compatible with a light gun peripheral for a more immersive experience. The page introduces key characters central to Jonathan's past and the unfolding mystery, emphasizing the depth of their relationships. Following that is Jikyu Oshibari Parodius Forever, with Me, a humorous and chatty scrolling shooter arriving on Saturn, supporting 2-player co-op. This entry in the popular Parodius series is known for its bizarre stages, quirky characters, and hilarious real-time commentary during gameplay. The page shows off various screenshots, including iconic stages, and some of the series' signature giant, comical bosses. It promises a fun, action-packed experience, filled with Konami humor and gags. This page dives into the eagerly anticipated Nights into Dreams, showcasing the game's unique system as it's gradually revealed. Pictured are Knights, the jester-like inhabitant of the dream world, and one of the children protagonists. The article promises a journey through the dream world, highlighting the game's fantasy action genre and providing details on its system alongside new screenshots. Basic game information such as release date, price, genre, and player count is presented in a small table. The core of the page explores Knight's diverse actions. It discusses 2 primary dash types: drill dash, used for high-speed flight and destroying obstacles, and touch dash, triggered upon contact with objects or enemies. The signature attack methods are detailed, including the paraloop, where drawing a circle creates a vortex to defeat enemies and collect items, and the touch loop, which involves spinning around enemies, effective for crowd control and boss fights. Described as reminiscent of action from American animation, The page also reveals Knight's ability to transform beyond flight, showing the frozen bell form that allows movement across icy surfaces like a sled. Finally, it confirms compatibility with the Sega Saturn analog controller, detailing its features for intuitive control and mentioning its future expandability. This page continues the deep dive into Nights into Dreams, outlining the game's fundamental flow and introducing some of its stages. The core gameplay loop is explained. Players, controlling either Elliot or Claris, first need to find and merge with Knights. This fusion grants Knight's abilities but is timed. To extend the time and progress, players collect blue chips, which power an idea capture. Defeating the idea capture releases an idea, representing one of the 5 dream emotions. Collecting 4 ideas in a stage summons the Nightmare boss, a minion of Wiseman, the game's antagonist. Defeating the boss completes the stage. The page showcases several dream stages, including the Mystic Forest, also referred to as Spring Valley, a stage specific to Clarice that reflects her subconscious. Other areas depicted include a serene yet mysterious forest with floating structures and ruins, and a hint of an underground passage stage. An interview with main planner Takashi Iizuka provides updates, stating development is around 80% complete and focusing on polishing the experience. He highlights the Alive system and confirms that choosing between Elliot and Claris significantly changes the stages encountered, adding replayability. He also touches upon the challenging boss fights against the Nightmare creatures, and expresses excitement for players to experience the character-specific paths and the game's unique feel, with a target release date of July 5th mentioned. This page dives into the chaotic world of Saturn Bomberman, a game that promises explosive fun with its biggest feature: simultaneous battles for up to 10 players. This takes multiplayer madness to a whole new level, a highlight for the Saturn hardware. Beyond the massive player count, the game introduces exciting new elements. There's a grade recognition mode, where your skill in clearing stages and defeating enemies is measured and displayed as a bomber grade, allowing players to track their progress through a challenging tower structure, culminating in boss fights against master bombers. A fascinating addition is the rideable creature called Tyra. This dinosaur-like companion grows by consuming enemies and offers different abilities depending on its color, adding strategic depth to the gameplay. The screenshots show various game modes, including the large-scale battles featuring beloved characters from other Hudson Soft titles, promising intense, crowded, and utterly wild Bomberman matches. It's clear the focus is on expanding the core Bomberman experience, with more players, new mechanics, and ways to test your bombing prowess. This page dives into the thrilling world of Night Striker, a near-future 3D shooter where you pilot the versatile vehicle known as the Intergrey to take down a terrorist organization. The game features a unique branching stage structure, offering players choices after each stage that lead to different paths and multiple endings, keeping the experience fresh across diverse environments like bustling cities, open seas with battleships, and quiet suburbs. The Saturn port adds some exciting, exclusive content. There's an intense extra stage designed specifically for skilled pilots, featuring increased enemy counts and challenging bosses. The game also includes an original CG movie depicting the Intergrey's cool departure sequence. For an even more authentic arcade feel, the port supports the mission stick peripheral, allowing you to enjoy the gameplay with an analog joystick. The overall impression is a fast-paced rail shooter, with plenty of replayability and Saturn-exclusive features. This page features a collection of hyper-ultech tips and tricks for various Sega Saturn games. It's presented as a ranking of useful or interesting cheats, with a scoring system from 1 to 5. The editors seem to reward unique and impactful discoveries. Among the highlights are tips for Legend of Oasis, revealing a code to enable 2-player simultaneous play, bringing a friend into the adventure. For Sandaru, there are multiple hidden commands to unlock extra content, like bonus games, omake scenes, a boss rush, and even the staff roll, adding significant replay value. Mega Man X3 gets 2 entries, detailing how to obtain powerful items, the Hyper Chip for enhanced abilities, and Zero's Beam Saber, showcasing gameplay screenshots of these in action. Other games featured include 3x3 Eyes, Kyuketsu Hime Aime, with cheats for accessing sound test and scenario select modes. There's also a rather risque tip for Kyan Kyan Bunny Premiere that promises to immediately show a nude scene or CG upon starting the game after inputting a specific sequence. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner offers a way to view hidden boss characters. Even a simple trick like rotating the logo in Nora Inamura no Hitobito is included, though it receives the lowest rank, suggesting its limited utility. Overall, it's a fun page packed with secrets designed to enhance the Sega Saturn gaming experience, ranging from practical gameplay advantages to quirky hidden content. This hyper-ultech installment shares secrets and tips for various Sega Saturn games. Clearing Bakuhatsu Hunter unlocks a special mode with minigames. Donpachi provides an extra options menu upon completion. Sandar offers infinite continues and stage selection codes. Johnny Bazooka's Password adds a fun pose counter bonus. Beating Thor. Sireyukiden reveals a detailed ranking screen. In Fishing Koshen, using live bait at specific depths helps catch larger fish. Kyan Bunny Premiere allows prank calls. The tower enables repeated money gains via save/reload. Gulliver Boy provides a massive treasure near Casablanca. Finally, Snatcher has a command to change target sites. The page ends with a call for reader submissions for magazine columns, including tips for various Sega consoles. This page is all about Darius 2 for the Sega Saturn, bringing the classic arcade shooter home. It highlights the game's return on the Saturn, emphasizing the faithful recreation of the original arcade experience, particularly the signature two-screen display and massive, marine life-inspired bosses. The article delves into the simple yet deep power-up system, where collecting color-coded items enhances your ship's weapons and defenses. A key point mentioned is the significant penalty for losing a life. You get powered down substantially, making survival and skillful play crucial. The page introduces several mid-bosses you'll encounter, detailing their appearance and attack patterns, such as the Fire King Fossil, a giant coelacanth, Green Coronatus, a seahorse, Octopus, an octopus, and Fatty Glutton, a piranha. It also breaks down the primary weapon types: missile, bomb, laser, and arm, alongside other useful items. Finally, it discusses how the Saturn version handles the multi-screen arcade layout, offering different zoom levels to recreate the expansive feel, and contrasts this with the single-screen representation found in the Mega Drive port. The reviewer notes that while the sprites might appear small in the full view, the gameplay is smooth and enjoyable. The next page dives deep into the zone structure of Darius 2, laying out the path through all 28 unique areas the game offers. It highlights the game's signature branching system, where clearing a zone allows you to choose the next path from a selection of 7 possibilities. The page details the zones planet by planet, showcasing screenshots and describing the environments and formidable boss enemies waiting at the end of each route. You'll battle massive aquatic lifeforms transformed into mechanical terrors across diverse backdrops, like the scorching surface of the sun, Zone A, featuring the Fire King Fossil, the dark caverns of Mercury, with bosses like Green Coronatus, the gaseous clouds of Venus, Zones DF, where you face Odious, the desolate moon surface, Zones GJ, encountering Lithodora, the varied landscapes of Earth, Zones Pew, culminating in the Grand Octopus, and the gaseous giant Jupiter, Zone ZVYZV. The article emphasizes the distinct challenges each zone presents, from tricky terrain to specific enemy patterns. It also dedicates a section to the final bosses encountered in the Jupiter zones, the Mother Hog, Little Stripe, and Biostrong, detailing their menacing forms and attack methods, noting that the final bosses are a true test of skill. Overall, the page serves as a comprehensive guide to navigating the challenging and varied world of Darius 2. This page focuses on the Sega Saturn release of Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete, bringing these legendary PC RPGs directly to the console. The article highlights that both Bane of the Cosmic Forge, 6, and Crusaders of the Dark Savant, V2, are included, playable with a common system. A major point of emphasis is the deep character creation process, described as the heart of the game, allowing players to extensively customize their party members by choosing from 11 races and 14 jobs, allocating stats and skills. The page showcases screenshots of character creation, party management, dungeon exploration, and combat encounters, illustrating the classic first-person perspective. It discusses the distinct scenarios of each game and the importance of skilled party building and strategic combat within the challenging dungeons. A column notes that this intricate character customization is a key reason for the series' appeal, providing a deep, personal connection for players. The next page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics of Wizardry Vi and V2 Complete. It highlights the strategic turn-based combat, explaining how party formation and character placement influence battles. The article describes the process of inputting commands for each character and details the physical attack system, noting how weapon type and range affect effectiveness, with different attack methods like slashing, piercing, or striking yielding varied results. Magic is also discussed, emphasizing its complexity, division into schools, and dependence on character job classes, with brief descriptions of key magical professions like mage, priest, alchemist, and psionicist. The page also covers the exploration aspect, stressing that manual mapping is a core part of the wizardry experience, despite auto-mapping features. It illustrates how players must open doors, find hidden items and switches, and solve environmental puzzles, often by deciphering cryptic messages, relying on character skills like strength, or the thief's lockpicking ability. Screenshots showcase various combat scenarios, the command entry screen, dungeon exploration views, finding treasure chests, and encountering messages or locked doors. A prominent graphic displays the map for the first level of Wizardry 6. Bane of the Cosmic Forge, reinforcing the focus on dungeon crawling. A reviewer seems to appreciate the intricate detail and challenge presented by the game's systems. This page dives into Kingdom Grand Prix, a truly unique title that fuses the high-speed intensity of a racing game with classic vertical and horizontal scrolling shooter action. You're not just trying to survive, you're competing against rivals to reach the goal first, all while blasting enemies and dodging obstacles. The game features two distinct modes, the traditional vertical arcade mode and a horizontal Saturn mode, offering different perspectives on the frantic gameplay. Success in Kingdom Grand Prix isn't just about shooting down everything. It's about managing your speed, utilizing power-ups strategically, and knowing when to attack rivals or simply focus on getting ahead. Obstacles like hitting walls or enemies can slow you down, so skillful navigation is key. Boss battles serve as checkpoints in the race, and defeating them quickly is crucial for maintaining your lead against your competitors. Adding to the game's personality is a roster of 8 distinct playable characters, including Gain, Chick, Yamamotoyama, Tenem, Kickle and Lickle, Lena, Honest John, and Bulgin. Each character boasts unique abilities and bomb attacks, allowing for varied strategies as you race and shoot your way through the stages. It's a fascinating blend of genres that demands both reflexes and competitive spirit. This page highlights Super Real Mahjong PV, the latest entry in the popular Mahjong series, making an early appearance on the Sega Saturn. Building on the series' reputation for visual character reveals tied to winning Mahjong matches, this title boasts even more enhanced visuals and smooth animation sequences. A significant new addition is the Waku Waku emotion system, which dynamically changes the girl's reactions and moods based on how you play. The page also reveals a major scoop for the series. The game features 4 playable characters, breaking from the usual 3. These include Yukari, a shy student from Hokkaido; Chris Garland, an American exchange student fluent in Japanese; Tamami Kayama, a 16-year-old hoping for physical growth; and Mari Kurihara, a cheerful nursery teacher unlucky in romance. The visuals emphasize the detailed character art and animation that the series is known for. This page dives into 2 distinct Sega Saturn titles. On the left, we get a look at Death Throttle, a unique driving and shooting game where you navigate a ruined city as a weaponized taxi driver, picking up passengers and completing missions to escape. The gameplay involves intense combat while driving and managing various taxi features like weapons, shields, and power-ups, with passwords needed to progress through the stages. It shows screenshots of the gritty urban environment and the game's cockpit view. On the right, the focus is on Coming Soon, highlighting psychic killer Teromaru. This action-packed side-scroller is presented as a game that breaks traditional molds, promising relentless combat and challenging boss encounters with varied patterns. It emphasizes the dynamic nature of the stages and the sheer intensity of the battles. The page also mentions support for 2-player simultaneous play, adding to the frantic actions. Screenshots showcase the game's detailed sprites, special effects, and various enemy and boss designs, including the titular character, Teromaru, and a companion. This page showcases a variety of upcoming Sega Saturn titles and related content. On the top left, we see Galjan, tentative title, a unique Mahjong game that uses rotoscope animation to depict realistic, often revealing character movements. The gameplay revolves around the standard 2-player Mahjong format against 3 different girls, with a focus on removing their clothing. Beyond the normal game, A gambling mode is also included. Next is Narrated. Explanation of the paranormal hash. 01. The debut entry in a planned adventure game series centered around supernatural phenomena. This first installment tackles the mystery of human spontaneous combustion. Players guide a group of 5 characters, each possessing unique special abilities, as they investigate and solve strange occurrences. Below, the page previews Gameware Volume 2, a digital magazine disc packed with diverse content. Highlights include a suspense movie titled In the Blue Water, and a music feature that includes an interview with composer Harumi Hosono. This disc offers a variety of entertainment beyond just gameplay. Finally, there's Big Hurt Baseball, a Major League Baseball simulation endorsed by stars Frank Thomas and Mike Piazza. Based on the '95 MLB season data, the game offers multiple play modes, including home run derby and practice, alongside full game options with team and stadium selection. The viewpoints are designed for realism, putting you right in the action. The page also includes a section on the making of Narrated, focusing on the voice actors involved in bringing the characters to life. This page previews several diverse upcoming Sega Saturn titles. First up is Mobile Suit Gundam Side Story, a 3D shooter putting you in the cockpit during the One-Year War. The game aims to faithfully recreate mobile suit battles from a first-person perspective, promising intense combat sequences based on the anime. Next, we see Decathlete, Sega's take on track and field events featuring a roster of colorful, powerful athletes. You'll compete in all 10 events of the decathlon, mastering different character types and strategies across various modes, including an arcade-style challenge. Also featured is Clockworks, a unique puzzle game with charming claymation-style visuals. The core gameplay involves rotating clock hands on screen to guide your character to the goal, offering a fresh mechanic and supporting 2-player competitive play. Finally, WrestleMania. The arcade game brings the over-the-top arcade fighting experience of the WWF to the Saturn. Featuring famous wrestlers, the game focuses on exaggerated special moves and combination attacks in one-on-one and tag team matches. The Sega Saturn is set to receive a diverse lineup of games. Puzzle fans can look forward to Dai Pai 2, a mahjong-based puzzle game mirroring arcade titles. Shooter enthusiasts will enjoy Strikers 1945, a vertical scrolling shoot-'em-up, with a crucial vertical screen mode for an authentic arcade experience. Kai 2 Saint Tail, an adventure game based on the popular anime, blends Phantom Thief action with school life simulation through minigames. Lastly, Ultraman Battleworking title is a fighting game featuring giant heroes and monsters, battling in destructible environments, aiming to capture the cinematic feel of the Ultraman series. This preview highlights a diverse selection of upcoming games. Tile-matching fans can look forward to Shanghai Great Moments, with multiple versions, and Daisen Poof! Fortsu no Game wo Marugoto Pack, which offers variations on the classic gameplay. Gekitotsu Pachinko Cars blends pachinko/pachislo simulation with an adventure structure, while Jike Data Bomoto ni Pachinko and Pachislo Dai offers realistic simulations. Boosta Move 2X, Puzzle Bobble 2X, provides the classic puzzle game experience with added content. Lulu is an adventure game with a picture book aesthetic. Shingata Kurinpa offers a new puzzle experience with block rotation and competitive modes. Finally, Desert Crimson is a gun-shooting game with evolving weapons and diverse environments. This page kicks off with Romance of the Three Kingdoms V, a strategic simulation game introducing the Yellow Turban Rebellion scenario and featuring improved systems with assigned officer roles. The graphics are also boosted, especially in the polygon-rendered battles. Following that is Hisatsu, a side-scrolling action game set in historical Japan, where players unravel mysteries and defeat evil, with various characters to choose from. A big highlight is the emergency report from E3 in Los Angeles. The huge news is the announcement of a brand new Sonic game for the Saturn. This isn't the arcade fighting game, but a unique 3D adventure allowing free movement and featuring impressive 360-degree backgrounds. Virtua Cop 2 was also shown and playable at the event. Elsewhere on the page we see Idol Janshi Final Romance Snar, a mahjong game that released a premium package featuring more characters and a dress-up mode. The page concludes with a look at general new title trends across various genres like 3D shooting, action puzzle, strategy, and adventure, as well as listing titles showcased at a Tokyo event, including Fighting Vipers and Street Fighter 02. This page features the latest status report on highly anticipated Sega Saturn software. Kicking off the report is Greatest 996, a baseball simulation getting a power-up with enhanced systems. Following that is the ambitious adventure and simulation hybrid Sakura Wars, which is progressing well. Action games are well represented, including the unique flight action of Nights into Dreams, refining its controls, and the arcade powerhouse Virtual On. Cyber Troopers, which is still under development. Fighting games like Samurai Showdown, Shinku Musuken detail its different playstyles, while Street Fighter Alpha 2 is announced for a summer release. Virtua Fighter Kids and Fighting Vipers are also mentioned, though their status is less clear. RPG enthusiasts can look forward to updates on Lunar, Silver Star Story, showcasing its artistic direction, and Albert Odyssey, Legend of Eldian, which is almost complete. Langrisser 2i, and Far East of Eden. The Apocalypse IV are also included with status updates. Simulation game Tokimeki Memorial Forever With You is getting final touches, and the adventure title Policenauts is also moving forward. Other notable games covered include the action title Warriors of Fate, the compilation Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, the mech action of Assault Suits Lanos 2, and the strategy RPG S-Tactics Ogre and Ogre Battle, whose Saturn versions are being checked. Finally, the unique interactive movie Enemy Zero is still in development. Overall, the page provides a snapshot of the many exciting and diverse titles on the horizon for the Saturn. This page presents the new release calendar for Sega Saturn and Game Gear titles. It's a comprehensive look at what's coming for Sega fans, broken down by release month for the near future, and a significant list of titles with release dates yet to be decided. The Sega Saturn calendar is packed with upcoming games across all genres. You'll see everything from major hits like Dragon Ball Z, Ultimate Battle 22, Virtua Fighter Kids, Nights into Dreams, Fighting Vipers, and the highly anticipated Sakura Wars, through to ports like Resident Evil and Tomb Raider. The list of undecided titles is particularly extensive, featuring many games still in development or listed under tentative names, showcasing the sheer volume of software planned for the system, covering RPGs, fighting games, action titles, and more. The calendar also briefly includes planned releases for the Game Gear, demonstrating that Sega's handheld still had some titles on the horizon. It provides a great overview of the exciting lineup Sega was preparing for its platforms. The next page features a vibrant advertisement for the Sega Saturn exclusive adventure game, Yuno. A Girl Lies at the Edge of the World. Set to release on June 28th for 6,800 yen, the ad showcases the game's striking anime character designs and lists the voice cast. This highly anticipated title, known for its intricate story and unique game mechanics, was also promoted at the '96 Tokyo Toy Show.